Hola a todos. Bienvenidos a este nuevo vídeo donde aprenderemos inglés de una manera fácil y súper divertida. Si siempre has querido mejorar tu inglés, pero te aburre lo tradicional, estás en el lugar correcto. Aquí vamos a usar juegos, canciones, actividades prácticas y mucho más para que aprendas sin darte cuenta. Así que, prepárate para disfrutar mientras descubres un nuevo idioma. Vamos a empezar. Caminé por el parque tranquilo.
I walked through the quiet park.
I walked through the quiet park.
Estudiaron para el examen difícil.
They studied for the difficult exam.
They studied for the difficult exam.
Preparaste una cena deliciosa.
You prepared a delicious dinner.
You prepared a delicious dinner.
Pintamos la casa de un color brillante.
We painted the house a bright color.
We painted the house a bright color.
Cantaron una canción hermosa.
They sang a beautiful song.
They sang a beautiful song.
Escuché una historia interesante.
I listened to an interesting story.
I listened to an interesting story.
Bailamos en la fiesta divertida.
We danced at the fun party.
We danced at the fun party.
Ayudaron a la señora anciana.
They helped the elderly lady.
They helped the elderly lady.
Tomaste una decisión importante.
You made an important decision.
You made an important decision.
Lloraron por la película triste.
They cried because of the sad movie.
They cried because of the sad movie.
Saltamos en el trampolín alto.
We jumped on the high trampoline.
We jumped on the high trampoline.
Visité un museo increíble.
I visited an amazing museum.
I visited an amazing museum.
Decoraste la habitación colorida.
You decorated the colorful room.
You decorated the colorful room.
Llamaron a un amigo lejano.
They called a distant friend.
They called a distant friend.
Cocinaste un postre dulce.
You cooked a sweet dessert.
You cooked a sweet dessert.
Miramos el cielo azul.
We looked at the blue sky.
We looked at the blue sky.
Compraron ropa elegante.
They bought elegant clothes.
They bought elegant clothes.
Pagaste una cuenta costosa.
You paid an expensive bill.
You paid an expensive bill.
Limpiaste el suelo sucio.
You cleaned the dirty floor.
You cleaned the dirty floor.
Entraron al salón oscuro.
They entered the dark room.
They entered the dark room.
Buscamos una solución rápida.
We looked for a quick solution.
We looked for a quick solution.
Repararon el coche roto.
They repaired the broken car.
They repaired the broken car.
Jugaste un partido emocionante.
You played an exciting game.
You played an exciting game.
Escalaron una montaña alta.
They climbed a tall mountain.
They climbed a tall mountain.
Desayuné una comida ligera.
I had a light breakfast.
I had a light breakfast.
Caminaste por el sendero largo.
You walked along the long path.
You walked along the long path.
Manejaron por una carretera peligrosa.
They drove on a dangerous road.
They drove on a dangerous road.
Almorzamos en un restaurante bonito.
We had lunch at a nice restaurant.
We had lunch at a nice restaurant.
Cerraste la puerta fuerte.
You closed the heavy door.
You closed the heavy door.
Celebraron una ocasión especial.
They celebrated a special occasion.
They celebrated a special occasion.
Enseñaron una lección valiosa.
They taught a valuable lesson.
They taught a valuable lesson.
Nadé en una piscina profunda.
I swam in a deep pool.
I swam in a deep pool.
Aplaudieron al artista talentoso.
They applauded the talented artist.
They applauded the talented artist.
Gritaste por una noticia sorprendente.
You shouted at the surprising news.
You shouted at the surprising news.
Saltaron del acantilado alto.
They jumped off the high cliff.
They jumped off the high cliff.
Guardaste los documentos importantes.
You stored the important documents.
You stored the important documents.
Cambiaron el diseño antiguo.
They changed the old design.
They changed the old design.
Amamos una película romántica.
We loved the romantic movie.
We loved the romantic movie.
Contaste una historia divertida.
You told a funny story.
You told a funny story.
Bailaste en la boda elegante.
You danced at the elegant wedding.
You danced at the elegant wedding.
Rezaron en la iglesia tranquila.
They prayed in the quiet church.
They prayed in the quiet church.
Descansé en una silla cómoda.
I rested in the comfortable chair.
I rested in the comfortable chair.
Abrazaron al niño asustado.
They hugged the scared child.
They hugged the scared child.
Cruzaste el puente viejo.
You crossed the old bridge.
You crossed the old bridge.
Estacionaron el coche grande.
They parked the big car.
They parked the big car.
Acabamos el trabajo duro.
We finished the hard work.
We finished the hard work.
Celebraste tu cumpleaños feliz.
You celebrated your happy birthday.
You celebrated your happy birthday.
Lloraste por el final trágico.
You cried at the tragic ending.
You cried at the tragic ending.
Terminamos el proyecto complejo.
We finished the complex project.
We finished the complex project.
Visitaste un lugar exótico.
You visited an exotic place.
You visited an exotic place.
Entraron al edificio moderno.
They entered the modern building.
They entered the modern building.
Apagaste la luz brillante.
You turned off the bright light.
You turned off the bright light.
Tomaron una foto perfecta.
They took a perfect picture.
They took a perfect picture.
Lucharon por una causa justa.
They fought for a just cause.
They fought for a just cause.
Limpié la ventana sucia.
I cleaned the dirty window.
I cleaned the dirty window.
Guardaste el secreto importante.
You kept the important secret.
You kept the important secret.
Dibujaron un retrato realista.
They drew a realistic portrait.
They drew a realistic portrait.
Borraste el mensaje confuso.
You deleted the confusing message.
You deleted the confusing message.
Corrieron en una maratón exhaustiva.
They ran in an exhausting marathon.
They ran in an exhausting marathon.
Condujiste por una calle estrecha.
You drove down a narrow street.
You drove down a narrow street.
Empezaron una aventura inolvidable.
They started an unforgettable adventure.
They started an unforgettable adventure.
Preparé un café fuerte.
I made a strong coffee.
I made a strong coffee.
Gritaron en el juego emocionante.
They shouted at the exciting game.
They shouted at the exciting game.
Decoramos el árbol navideño.
We decorated the Christmas tree.
We decorated the Christmas tree.
Jugaste con un juguete nuevo.
You played with a new toy.
You played with a new toy.
Terminaron la tarea larga.
They finished the long task.
They finished the long task.
Buscaste un lugar secreto.
You looked for a secret place.
You looked for a secret place.
Tomamos un camino recto.
We took a straight path.
We took a straight path.
Practicaron un deporte intenso.
They practiced an intense sport.
They practiced an intense sport.
Atrapaste una pelota rápida.
You caught a fast ball.
You caught a fast ball.
Visitamos una ciudad histórica.
We visited a historic city.
We visited a historic city.
Caminé por un bosque espeso.
I walked through the dense forest.
I walked through the dense forest.
Contaron una historia larga.
They told a long story.
They told a long story.
Manejamos un coche moderno.
We drove a modern car.
We drove a modern car.
Pintaste una pared blanca.
You painted a white wall.
You painted a white wall.
Canté una canción alegre.
I sang a happy song.
I sang a happy song.
Cambiamos las sábanas sucias.
We changed the dirty sheets.
We changed the dirty sheets.
Encontraste un tesoro escondido.
You found a hidden treasure.
You found a hidden treasure.
Visitamos a una familia amorosa.
We visited a loving family.
We visited a loving family.
Cantaron con una voz hermosa.
They sang with a beautiful voice.
They sang with a beautiful voice.
Escuchamos una melodía tranquila.
We listened to a calm melody.
We listened to a calm melody.
Miré una película entretenida.
I watched an entertaining movie.
I watched an entertaining movie.
Jugaste en un equipo fuerte.
You played in a strong team.
You played in a strong team.
Comieron una comida pesada.
They ate a heavy meal.
They ate a heavy meal.
Viajé a un país lejos.
I traveled to a far country.
I traveled to a far country.
Abrazamos a nuestro amigo cariñoso.
We hugged our loving friend.
We hugged our loving friend.
Limpiaron la cocina pequeña.
They cleaned the small kitchen.
They cleaned the small kitchen.
Descansamos en una playa desierta.
We rested on a deserted beach.
We rested on a deserted beach.
Escuchaste una canción triste.
You listened to a sad song.
You listened to a sad song.
Celebramos un logro importante.
We celebrated an important achievement.
We celebrated an important achievement.
Escribieron una carta larga.
They wrote a long letter.
They wrote a long letter.
Caminamos bajo la lluvia suave.
We walked in the gentle rain.
We walked in the gentle rain.
Pintaron el paisaje hermoso.
They painted the beautiful landscape.
They painted the beautiful landscape.
Entraste a un cuarto oscuro.
You entered a dark room.
You entered a dark room.
Viajaron en un tren rápido.
They traveled on a fast train.
They traveled on a fast train.
Salté de una altura peligrosa.
I jumped from a dangerous height.
I jumped from a dangerous height.
Bailamos al ritmo rápido.
We danced to the fast rhythm.
We danced to the fast rhythm.
Manejaste en una ciudad grande.
You drove in a big city.
You drove in a big city.
Hablamos de un tema interesante.
We talked about an interesting topic.
We talked about an interesting topic.
Esperaron en una fila larga.
They waited in a long line.
They waited in a long line.